Guess who's in the studio? It is Reform UK luminary. I never know what to call him, really. Former Tory luminary, now Reform UK luminary. Tim Montgomery, welcome.
Thank you. We're going to have a fight about the air conditioning level in the studio, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, I've just had the air conditioning turned down. I hope that'll be to your liking. Jeremy Kyle, I don't know what he is, but he needs very high temperatures. It's like a bloody sauna in here, I'll tell you. Right, first of all, let's talk, if you don't mind, Tim, about what I would call the asylum seeker rape problem. Now, this is in essence, this is the toxic cocktail of young men arriving in sexualised Britain from countries where women aren't even permitted to show their toes. They arrive here, from Muslim countries, women are covered up, and they arrive in Britain where we have the Kim Kardashian OnlyFans culture, girls, dressed sexually. They've got every right to do so. I'm glad that they do. It's a free country and all that. However, these guys arrive here, and this is a recipe for disaster, and it looks like that disaster is beginning to happen. We saw a couple of weeks ago, and spilling into last week, the riots in Ballymena, which were caused by the charging of two young 14-year-old migrants from Romania with the rape of a local girl. Also, last week we covered the story of an Afghani migrant who crossed the channel in a small boat illegally 2 years ago. And almost instantly was transported to Scotland, billeted up there in Falkirk, almost instantly approached a 15-year-old girl, asked her if she had a boyfriend, could he have her phone number, before dragging her behind the back of a local pub in Falkirk and raping her. Now, we've subsequently learned, and I think this is a very disturbing story at the weekend, that councillors in Southsea, the seaside bit of Portsmouth, were ordered, if you like, certainly asked to keep quiet the fact that a guy charged with the rape of a local woman was in fact a migrant staying at the local asylum seeker hotel, which is called the Royal Beach Hotel. So they were asked to keep that quiet.
Learning nothing from the grooming gang.
Well, quite. And then we learned there quite possibly are similar cases in Manchester and London where an asylum seeker, maybe more, accused, charged with the rape of local women, but the authorities are so worried about the potential incendiary effect of that on the local community, as we saw in Ballymena, 5 nights of rioting, that they're keeping this stuff quiet. Now, what I would say about this is I can understand that impulse. It's not healthy to keep anything secret from the public, but that is no solution, is it, to this rising problem. I just want to add a couple of other cases. So this guy, the Afghani guy in Falkirk, his defence was this, just to sort of crystallise what we're talking about. His defence was this: nobody told me about the cultural differences between Afghanistan and Britain. In other words, in Afghanistan they're pretty relaxed about rape. He discovered to his horror that over here we're not, and he got 12 years. He went furious. He was furious.
Our fault, was it? It was our fault.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah. Now, and now we learn of a shocking case of a Qatari camel herder. I covered this last night as well. Brought to Britain for heart surgery. Seems kind of strange, but he was. And put into the Chelsea's Royal Brompton Hospital for heart surgery, and he raped a woman there. And again, he said, well, the problem is, back in my home country, Qatar, I had little interaction with women. Now, this syndrome is a real problem. And I'm afraid that just pretending it's not happening, which is what they try to do in Southsea, what they're apparently doing in London and Manchester as we speak, trying to pretend it's not happening, that is not the way to solve this issue.
It'll make it worse in the long run. Like it's a simmering pan, isn't it? you can keep the lid on that simmering pan for a little while, and on the surface it looks like you've managed to maintain the calm. But it's bubbling and it's bubbling and it's bubbling. And when eventually that lid comes off, it'll be worse. So you're right, it's not a solution. The fundamental solution is we need to be an awful lot more discriminating about who we let into this country. Now,
that was the underlying point I was not successfully making.
Well, we can repeat and magnify each other's points. Look, both of us, I think, are worried about the volume of immigration. That's one issue. But you look at previous generations who came to Britain. You look at what Britain was. People loved the idea of joining our country. They liked Englishness. They liked our values. They liked what we were. Then they brought a little bit of their culture. But the people who used to come to this country, they wanted to be British in a true sense of that. Now, a lot of the immigration we have are from people and cultures who actually look at us and perhaps don't like us very much, partly because we've changed. And they want to change us. They want to come here and live the life that they did back home. We should say, look, fine if you want to live like that, but you don't do that in Britain. We have a set of values, and if you can't abide by those, you are not welcome. That's a common sense position that ultimately would serve both sides of this equation. But to sort of say that, you're almost accused of being racist or shutting the door to people. But I tell you what, Kevin, the politician or political party that can get to that position will get the overwhelming support of the British people.
Indeed, I couldn't agree with you more. And what we've got going on here is the political establishment trying to cover up, keep secret, if you like, the powder keg aspect of what's going on. The result of this come one, come all migration policy, that anybody can come in. We literally every year, because we're not just talking about the illegal migrants, probably about 50, 60,000 this year will come across the channel the way it's going. But we're talking also about the vast number of legal migrants who come in. Previously, as many as 1 million a year. Well, I think we're down to about 700, 600,000.
No, only that. Still a record on any
not even worth mentioning anymore. But I know for a fact that the legal migrants who come in, many of them, of course, young men, are not asked any question. They're asked one question: did you commit any crimes back in your home country? Yeah, people aren't wont to say yes. 46, many of them rape. You know, they're not going to. So we are letting in hundreds of thousands of young men.
And you know, Kevin, we don't actually know how many people we're letting in. I don't know whether all of your listeners know this, but we don't do normal in-out checks that most countries do. We do surveys. We're pathetic. We don't even know who's coming in on legal routes, let alone illegal routes. And no wonder people think we are a soft touch. If we can't even do basic things like count people in and out. And back to the fundamental.
But if it also, Tim, that we can't make the basic decision that if we don't know anything about you, you can't come into this country. However, we're letting in hundreds of thousands of young men every year without knowing anything at all about them, both illegal and legal.
I can stop you there and correct you, actually. I don't know whether you've seen any of the government propaganda, but all immigrants built this society.
Oh, yes, that's right. Windrush. Yes, we were nothing until Windrush, right?
Look, lots of the Windrush generation were great.
But we were doing OK before they got here. Exactly. We didn't need them to build our society.
We're not a young country. We've been around the block once or twice.
We didn't start in 1950, did we?
And, you know, just treat us like adults. We can cope with the fact that lots of immigrants are brilliant, but there's some bad apples there. If you just give us propaganda, all immigrants are wonderful and there isn't any problem, people will stop trusting anything you say, and integration then becomes a problem. Treat us like adults and we'll behave like adults.
But I do think that this, the sexual crime aspect of this is a building powder keg. It's going to get worse. And now the point is, as we've discovered in Ballymena, If that happens around the country, that the local communities find out that an asylum seeker has been charged or arrested for rape, no matter what the veracity of that is, the local community will rise up, and we will get ballaminas all over this country all throughout the summer, don't you think?
I do. And, you know, the left rightly want to sort of champion and protect immigrants. But, you know, I used to remember when they used to champion women's rights. That used to be, you know, really matter. And that probably was the primary thing. But that's now put out of the window, even though there's lots of evidence. You know, a lot of the attacks on London buses against women throughout the country are from immigrants. And if you really are a party of equality for women, that should matter to you.
And also, as a government, as a country, we've got to make a stand. We've got to say, if you're going to come and live in this country, if we're going to let you into this country, we have to know about you. You can't just turn up and say, oh, yeah, well, I lost my passport. You can't do that. We've got to know about you. And if we don't, what we saw in Falkirk, what we saw in the Chelsea hospital, what we saw in Ballymena, we're going to see more and more and more of it by the law of averages, and that is not a good thing, folks. Let me know what you think. 0344 499 1000. And what I'm saying is, do we need to actually say, if you haven't got your passport or documents, you can't come in? Do we need to start saying this? I think we do.